This afternoon, NDC General Secretary Fifi Kwete exposes lawyers cutting deals to shield former officials, threatening credibility of government anti-corruption promises.
Also, this Minister for Communications chairing stakeholder committee meeting with MultiChoice Ghana to evaluate and agree to DSTV pricing in the country.
A lot later, we talk football because Ghanaians are waiting with bated breath as the Black Stars take on Mali tonight in a crucial World Cup qualifier.
Those are the top stories. Welcome to a brand new week of News Central. I'm Kemini Amano.
And I am Mawina Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now.
Now, this afternoon, the Minister for Communications is chairing a stakeholder committee meeting with MultiChoice Ghana to evaluate and agree to DSTV pricing in the country. This follows an earlier warning to shut down DSTV's operations last Saturday after the company denied the minister's announcement that the two parties had agreed to a price reduction. Now, we know the company has accumulated some 250,000 cedis in fines since August 15 after its failure to submit essential pricing data. Our reporter, Christian Yale, has been picking some insider information concerning this crucial meeting. He's joining us now with some update. Christian, good afternoon to you. Let's talk about this meeting. Has it started?
So the understanding we have is that the meeting should be underway as of now, chaired by the Minister of Sam Nate George, who is going to chair this committee, and they have like about 14-day period or window within which to come to a conclusion on this matter. And so the committee, among a lot of things, would look at examining the arguments for and against a possible reduction in subscription fees, a matter that has been of a public debate in recent weeks. I should say that this traces way back to the very beginning of last month, which is August, when the minister started engaging with management of MultiChoice Ghana to get them to come to this agreement. But we know that over the period, the company, which is DSTV Ghana, for instance, has consistently defended its pricing structure, pointing to operational challenges and external cost factors as justification for maintaining the current rate. It's actually largely been a back and forth issue between the company and the Ministry of Government on one hand, because since the deadline was given to MultiChoice Ghana and they failed to do so, the minister has on several occasions held press conferences, with the latest one being what was held last Friday, in which press conference he confirmed that MultiChoice has agreed to a price reduction. Shortly after that, we had MultiChoice come to say that they've not agreed to any price reduction. After that, the media to say that if that is the case and they've decided to change their mind, then they would go ahead to shut down the operations of DSTV Ghana on Saturday, which was the 6th of September. But we later had a press statement from MultiChoice Ghana agreeing to this stakeholder committee to come to terms with government on a fair pricing model that would be of interest to consumers alike. Kennedy.
I see. So this meeting today, does it bring conclusion to this matter? What are you picking up on the ground?
Exactly. So in the look of things, or from the look of things, it does not look like after the meeting today there will be a conclusion, because you remember that the minister during that press engagement last Friday gave them a 14-day window to settle on this. Earlier, MultiChoice Ghana had even requested 30 days in which they will come to a conclusion on it. I had an earlier communication or conversation with the minister off record where he told me, among other things, that after this meeting is done today, they would work on a final report, and that final report would be released to all Ghanaians and media houses alike for them to know what the final conclusion is going to be. And so this meeting is likely just going to be a starter to the conclusion or to the climax of this whole banter, which has been of a back and forth between the two parties over the last 4 weeks. Coming in.
I see Christian, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for talking to us. Christian Yale is our correspondent who's monitoring that meeting between the communications minister and MultiChoice Ghana, operators of DSTV here in the country. Now, that's a story we'll continue to keep an eye on and bring you updates as they emerge.
Well, this afternoon, the alarm bells have gone off and the sirens blasting loudly over possible corrupt deals under the current administration. The revelation by General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Avekwete, of some lawyers cutting deals to prevent the jailing of former government appointees under the government's much-touted oral program has not only raised eyebrows, it has left many wondering if the promise to jail corrupt officials was only a promise to win political power. Well, addressing legal practitioners affiliated to the governing party at a forum, the General Secretary of the ruling party warned against acts which will put a spanner in the works of the current government in exacting accountability.
It's to be done, it must be done well. And to be done well means it has to be thoroughly done, proper due diligence. The job must be properly done. And you are the lawyers, so you should know. If you say righteousness and justice should be the foundation, it must be. So you cannot in one breath be making proclamations that are condemning those who are on the other side, while you yourself are part of the system that wants to subvert the same laws and the same constitution, the same rights things from being done. So you should be the first point of making sure things are done properly. That's the only way we can establish a society that will be truly great and strong. My first point. My second point is this. And Attorney General, I'm sure the pressure is mounting. We at the level of the party are picking the signals. And the signals we are picking is this. That many among us, in spite of the further pleas and the pressure coming from the public that the things have to be done properly, punishment must be exacted, and things have to be done, some among us are busy trying to cut deals with people who are supposed to be prosecuted. Some among us are trying to cut deals. Some are becoming conduits through whom pressure is being brought to bear on people who are supposed to do what is right. I'm not mentioning names. A time may come where we may have to. A word to the wise. Some know themselves, those who are. We are hearing your names. Think again. Because this victory was achieved largely because the people of Ghana wanted the right things done. Not for deals to be cut. For them to say, okay, now that we are on the other side, we cut deals so that tomorrow you also can get a deal cut. No, it won't happen.
That's Fifi Avekwete, is the General Secretary of the ruling National Democratic Congress. Let's get on to Zoom right now. Martin Pebu is a private legal practitioner. He was also a part of the oral preparatory team which put together a dossier, handed it over to the president, and the president subsequently handed it over to the Attorney General. Now we're learning, Counsel, I appreciate you speaking to us, that there are some persons who are seeking to cut deals and put the spanner in the works in terms of exacting accountability. Do you think these individuals should have been named to start off with? Counsel, if you could kindly unmute for us so we can hear you. Well, it does appear there's a bit of a challenge in hearing from private legal practitioner Martin Pebu. But while we try to rectify the connection with him, we know that the Attorney General himself, the man who Fifi Kwete says is under pressure, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, he's urged the lawyers of the NDC to defend the democracy of the country as well as the country's constitution.
We defend the poor and vulnerable in court. We give life to Article 17's promise of equality. When we hold government accountable for misuse of public resources, we honor Article 35(8) of the Constitution, which enjoins the state to prevent corruption and the abuse of power. When we protect workers against abuse, farmers, market women, and the marginalized, we affirm the NDC social democratic heritage that governance must be people-centered and justice-driven. As SOA JSC stated in 24 and Attorney General 1980 Ghana Law Report 637, our Constitution is a living document intended to meet the needs of our society. That living spirit is social justice, and it is our duty to nurture the spirit and sustain it. The NDC, since its inception, has positioned itself as a custodian of these values: free compulsory basic education, the expansion of health facilities, rural electrification, workers' rights, and social protection schemes are all testaments to this tradition, despite the noise that is always being made by our opponents to the effect that we have nothing to show when it comes to social protection. But a lawyer's role in politics must be principled. When we engage in political advocacy, it must not be for the sake of power, but for advancing fairness, inclusion, and accountability. The bar cannot be neutral in the face of inequality. And of course, as NDC lawyers, as social democrats, we cannot and should not tolerate inequality. We must stand where justice demands. Comrades, the NDC lawyer must be, first of all, an advocate of equity, using law to dismantle systemic barriers that perpetuate poverty and exclusion. A defender of constitutionalism, ensuring that our democracy serves the people, not just the elite. And of course, constitutionalism limits the power of government so that rights may be expanded. The NDC lawyer must also be a voice for the voiceless, making legal aid, pro bono services, and community advocacy a living part of our professional identity.
Thankfully, we have private legal practitioner Martin Pebu back this time on the phone with us. Counsel, I was asking if from the onset we shouldn't be getting names of these individuals who are seeking to cut these deals and disrupt the government effort at recovering loot.
No. Let's give Fifi Kwete the benefit of the doubt. You know, he has assessed the situation and he says he will hold on with names for now. So in that light, we'll be running ahead of ourselves so that the names must come out. Let me say that even the fact that that statement came from him, that NDC lawyers are rather cutting deals to frustrate the prosecution of people who looted public funds, etc., it's weighty enough. It's a strong warning enough. So I agree that he shouldn't mention names for now. If the conduct doesn't stop, then he would go ahead. Yes, but I mean, we must commend Fifi Kwete for coming out. That's very commendable. So that this would serve as a warning, a stark warning to those very people involved in cutting those deals. So with this... Yeah.
Right. But this does begin to raise the doubts and the questions, because many are those who've made the argument and made it quite strongly that we should have seen a lot more from the Attorney General in terms of oral prosecutions and the likes. But we haven't seen that much. Is this beginning to explain perhaps why some say there's a delay?
You see, the thing is that I think the Attorney General has done a commendable job. Let's remember that it's not every case that the Attorney General can prosecute. Some of them don't belong to him. Some belong to Yoko. So look at the Yoko line of cases. Hanan, the buffer stock. You see how Hanan, the stories came out. Millions of dollars in watches, etc. Right? And those things. So you saw Hanan's case. You saw Wuntumi's case, also in Yoko. And the other Yoko, Kofi Akpalu, LPG, also Yoko. I'm sure we could mention more and more. So the thing is that the Attorney General cannot take over Yoko's cases. We have the Act 804, the Yoko Act, which says Yoko should deal with money laundering, tax evasion, other forms of organized crime, etc. So you see that Yoko is dealing with some. You go to OSP. You see OSP as is dealing with the Mustafa Hamid case, which is in court now, over 280 million Ghana cedis. Yes, Martin. You have over 280 million Ghana cedis. That is what Mustafa Hamid and his colleagues took, our money. So OSP is in court over that case. Then you also know this is Cecilia Dapa, the Aqua Africa water project. Philip Foster, I heard last week, he's been arrested by the CID. Right. That's the man who took our cars. Cecilia Dapa signed a contract without reference to the Attorney General, and we lost a lot of money. So Philip Foster, the man in charge of the company, I think CEO or so, was arrested. The state is going for the cars, and very soon that case will go to court. So there are quite a number of cases. All of them cannot be done by the Attorney General. He will be breaching the law if he attempted to take over the work of OSP, etc.
But is anybody legitimate in asking the question that can we trust that Oral will be seen through to the latter when persons who believed in the agenda of Oral are now seemingly working behind the scenes to stall its progress?
Oh, yes, we can trust absolutely that Oral is working to the end. So, as I've mentioned, the cases I just mentioned, those are examples of cases in which deals could not be cut to prevent the various state agencies and Attorney General from going to court. You see, the Attorney General is dealing with Kwadna Edubuahin's case, etc. So you see that those cases have not been prevented from going to court. So in the same vein, the other cases that are being investigated, once investigations are concluded, they will also make their way to court. Maybe, let's say this, with hindsight, what I think we can do to improve the system is that then in that case, we should appoint more experienced public prosecutors, okay, to help the Attorney General. Yes, currently, yes, there's a current crop, but to get more speed, it means that we should recruit more experienced, top notch, not beginners, so that they can help the Attorney General. Maybe, yes, because there are a lot more lawyers in the private sector who can be brought in to help the Attorney General to fast track. Yes, that one certainly he could do with more lawyers to beef up his staff.
Right then, Counsel, I'm sure there'll be a bit more in terms of this conversation, and we'll have it with you, I'm sure, in subsequent bulletins as well. But that's private legal practitioner Martin Kebu speaking to us this afternoon on the very latest in terms of a warning served by the General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Kwete, to lawyers within the party not to cut deals to save former government appointees from being prosecuted and the government's much-touted oral program. We're going for our very first break here on News Central. When we return, we talk football because the Black Stars have that crucial game up ahead at 7 p.m. this evening. We'll speak to a former player of the senior national team, Yusuf Chipsa, and get his thoughts as to what can be done to ensure that victory is ours. Stay with us.
Why are more and more professionals choosing Flamingo Pay? As an interior decorator, I aim for that beautiful, elegant look. Flamingo paint has great hiding ability to cover and transform old walls easily with just one coat.
Impressive. For me, as a professional painter, I love Flamingo paints because with just small paints, I paint huge area, meaning more profit for me. Great value for money.
As an architect, Flamingo paint, with its well-researched and solid composition, guarantees durability for all my buildings.
Flamingo paint, superior hiding, superior coverage, superior durability. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
TV3 presents the 2025 Edu Fair, the one-stop shop that connects students and schools, educational institutions,
reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle,
from the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital,
from the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom,
reporting from Sunyani,
from the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds, the moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voices we amplify, who appears on screen and who contributes behind the scenes. With professionalism at our core, we bring you news you can trust, impact journalism that makes a difference. This illustrates how diverse perspectives enhance our strength and reinforces our mission. This is 3 News, leaders in breaking news, exclusive interviews, facts and analysis on TV, radio, online and digital. 3 News, first in news.
Welcome back. It's still News Central here on TV3. Let's now take you up north, where the communal conflict in the Bole and Sole areas is severely disrupting education, as most of the children have had to flee their homes. Schools in affected communities have been closed down. In the Bole district, for instance, the Directorate of Education says it is considering establishing a temporary class for the close to 10,000 displaced children of school-going age. Now, let's connect now with Christopher Amwako, who is Savannah and Northern Regions correspondent. Christopher, let's talk about these young children who are missing school. What is the situation like now?
Kemini, I can confirm to you that as we speak, some 44 schools in the Bole district alone have been affected by this conflict. Now, these 44 schools are found in some 39 communities. Now, we have 13 teachers who are directly affected, and currently the Savannah Regional Director of Education has asked them to seek cover so that when the conflict is over, they can come back to these communities that have been affected. And so in the Bole district alone, we have over 5,000 children, pupils of school-going age who have fled into neighboring La Côte d'Ivoire and currently not being able to attend school. Others are not in Côte d'Ivoire, but they are at other places and also are not in school. So we are counting close to some 10,000 displaced children who are not currently in school. Kemini, I can also confirm to you that the Education Directorate is considering establishing an emergency school at the Ivorian side of the West African sub-region, where the people here are seeking refuge so that they can also have access to education. Let's take a listen to what the Savannah Regional Director of Education and the District Chief Executive have been saying on the plans they have for the children who have been displaced.
Out of 150 schools that we have, 44 schools have been disrupted as a result of the spillover, and this is in about 5 of our circuits, and in all over 5,600 pupils have been affected negatively. You know, the people were running, so they also ran with their parents and guardians. In fact, for the staff, 13 of our staff cannot work presently. They've also gone into hiding as a result of the unfortunate situation. Call something education in emergency. So in collaboration with UNICEF, we've gotten some items from UNICEF headquarters in Accra, so that will provide tents, temporary classroom structures at where the people are camping, so that we will give education to their wards. On our records, we have over 5,000 that ran away from their communities. But at the camps, the numbers of the children will determine the measures we will put in place. For now, we have canopies from UNICEF that create 4 classroom space, and each of them can take up to 50 learners at a time, so that they even supplied us with learning materials, play equipment, so that we will engage them. The difficulty will be segregating them, but when we get to the camps, it is the numbers and the classes that they were before running away that will determine how we place them, so that they will have access to at least element of education while they are running for their life. For last week, we asked the teachers in STK, especially the affected communities, to stay away until we have assurance from DISEC and RESEC that it is safe to go back. But while they are out hiding, we'll make use of them in this education emergency situation, so that they will provide services to the children. Because whatever it is, we are being affected. Already our performance is not that too good.
The southern part of the Bole district look somehow better. However, the attendance there too is very low. If you come to the western part, which is mostly affected, because we have most of the Brefu communities located around those places. As we speak, you can...
You tell us who we just heard from, but then also explain to us how soon these temporary classrooms will be set up for the children, especially with the backdrop that a new school year has begun.
Yeah, so we just heard from the Savannah Regional Director of Education, Bright Flower, who spoke first. Then we have the Bole District Chief Executive, Abdullahi Mahamoud, all speaking on the education as a result of the displaced victims running to Ivory Coast. Now, they are saying that the items brought by UNICEF, today, these items will be transported to the Ivory Coast, and so that these children will be engaged. Now, the director has also indicated that some teachers will be recalled for them to go to Ivory Coast, that is Bonkoro, where these displaced victims are, so that they can begin having these classes with them, because they cannot afford to keep waiting. They don't know when these people will return back into their community.
I see. While we're doing that, I heard the District Director of Education talk about safety and security, which is the condition for the teachers to return to the communities. What is the latest on that? How are those communities looking like?
Yes, so the good news is that, Kemini, some of the communities, we are beginning to see people returning to the communities, but it's just a few of them who have decided that, look, for the past days, there hasn't been any incidents of attacks, and so they have decided to start returning, but they are also talking about their safety issues. And so probably in the coming days, we'll begin to see some of them, most of them joining the others who have returned, because the Yagbonwura has directed his sub-chiefs and other paramount chiefs to ensure that peace prevails in these areas. And so that in itself is an assurance. The residents are also saying that it's affecting business activities, it is affecting education, and so they want the people who have fled to come back to their communities, so that together they can live peacefully. What they want is that the recognition that, look, traditionally the land belongs to Party A, and so that respect and recognition should be given to that person. Once that has been established, then there is a need for peaceful coexistence. Let's take a listen to what a resident, I beg your pardon, has been saying.
Well, my understanding is that we cannot do that at this time. But Christopher, just before we go, let's keep up with the residents, or, you know, the victims of this conflict who are in camps. What is the situation today?
Okay, so for today, what I can say, Kemini, is that the issues of food is a very big challenge, especially those in the Ivory Coast area. The second issue has to do with their health needs. The third has to do with shelter. It is still a very big challenge. When it rains, Kemini, it's very terrible. These people do not have enough tents to sleep in. They sleep in the open. Just yesterday, National Security has brought in some 1,500 mattresses to be distributed to these victims, and 500 has been left in the solar camp. The remaining 500 is also going to the other camp, and the remaining 500 is for those who are relocating into their communities. This will be given to them. So this morning, 1,000 have been brought to Bole, so that it will be transported to Ivory Coast for them to also use. Those in Ivory Coast, their condition is not looking too good. Even though those in Sola also have similar concerns, but DS is being managed because they are closer to the country.
Very well. Christopher, let's take a listen to that resident you spoke about earlier now. But thank you so much for bringing us the report from Gwinyere.
Roberts no sugumu sa ji so mo mbete sa Roberts no o mbete sa ene e kaka na aka no mo sa di jatum o ma hye no to mo hye no so a na no so ho enko na se tamu sa nso to a na yira fa bridge no so enko
ko e pollution e ntontom nansi malaria chiche boys ni wa onse boys ni bi da boy ko e che no aka ni ti zenka.
Let's move away from that, and apologies. But we're talking football now, because the Black Stars of Ghana will tonight again renew football rivalry with the Eagles of Mali in the 2026 World Cup qualification Group I match. The match is to be played at the Accra Sports Stadium a lot later this evening. The Stars are undefeated in their last two matches across all competitions, but the Stars have recorded one victory and one draw, which came against Chad away in that Group I encounter last week. Ghana continues to top the group with 16 points from 7 matches, but the Eagles of Mali are placed third in the group with 12 points from 7 games. Now, Mali will have to win their last 3 games in order to stand a chance of finishing in the top 2 spots as either group winners or as one of the 4 best runners-up. And that makes the game very crucial. And with many analysts describing that 1-1 draw with Chad as disappointing, and those who say pressure is mounting on the Black Stars to deliver at 7 p.m. today. Yusuf Chipsa is a former Black Stars midfielder. He's joining us right now as with regards what we can look forward to. Chipsa, thank you very much for speaking to us. For many, the performance against Chad was abysmal. Do you have confidence that at home today, when the floodlights come on, the Stars will deliver?
Yes, good afternoon to you and to your listeners. It's others' opinion to describe the Chad game as abysmal. I think we just didn't get the desired results. But again, we are here today to face Mali. We are very much confident that the boys are ready, they're up for the task, and they will deliver today.
There's a lot of pressure, if we can call it that, building up, expectations and conversations about the coach, Otuado, who I believe is a former colleague of yours during the time at the Black Stars as well. Many have called his expertise into question. Will there be pressure on him to deliver to a certain extent today?
I think, we see it as pressure, but with his experience in the job, I think he should anticipate that it's normal when the fans are not getting the results that they expected. It's normal that those pressures will be coming. But I believe that he's up to the task, and they should rather see this as a traditional factor rather than pressure. That is going to push them to win the game today and to appease all Ghanaians for the fact that they couldn't win against Chad. So, we see it as pressure, but the players, what I saw from them yesterday when we visited them in camp, and the technical team see that as a motivational factor rather, that is leading them to get victory today against Chad.
We had the Mali coach say that he was interviewed for Otuado's job, but he didn't hear from the GFA again, and he's got the job. Are these mind games going into tonight's fixture, or he's just laying bare the facts?
I think it's just part of the bragging rights, and I mean, obviously, you don't expect him to chicken out or to say that Ghana is ahead or whatever. So. He's just playing the game. It's a mind's game, but the reality will dawn on him today. The most important thing is our boys are very ready, and they know that this is an opportunity for them to appease Ghanaians for the fact that they couldn't win against Chad. So, yes, we are ready, and we expect all Ghanaians to troop into the
expectations in terms of how we line up today. What will be your expectation? You said you visited the boys yesterday. You know Otuado quite well. How do we approach this game? All attacking, or we balance it out?
It will depend. I mean, the game is 90 minutes, and to win a game, you cannot rely on a particular pattern or system. So you should read the game in the first 15 minutes. To see if your anticipated system or strategy to be mounted by your opponents are exactly what you thought. If it's not, you also have to change your strategy. So at the end of the day, we need to get the 3 points. That is the most important thing. So we expect Otuado and his boys to mount up whatever strategy. They have been in training. They have watched the Malians. They've scouted them, and they know what is expected of them to win. At the end of the day, Ghanaians need to see the 3 points in our basket at the end of the game today.
I'll push you finally to give me a prediction for tonight's game. How do you expect it to all end?
I wouldn't mind if we get a 2-0 win. that would be good enough for us.
A 2-0 win. Yusuf, thank you very much for speaking to us. That's Yusuf Chips predicting a 2-0 win against Mali, who we've enjoyed a bit of success against in recent games, but I just won the 3 points, and that will be more than enough for us, as a lot of fans will be trooping to that stadium a lot later this evening for that all-important game. Right now, though, let's bring you stories from the regions.
Now, calm has returned to the whole main lorry terminal in the Volta region following a protracted chaos that hit the car park over the weekend. Operations at the terminal were disrupted on Saturday amidst disagreements between two feuding parties under the Ghana Private Road Transport Union. Correspondent Faisal Abdul-Idrisu, who's been monitoring happenings there, is now joining us with a bit more on this story. Faisal, can you bring us up to speed with how things look like this afternoon at the terminal? Oh, Faisal, I'm going to try again. What can you report this afternoon from the terminal?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, no, it would appear Faisal cannot hear us at this time, but we're looking to bring you the latest on that protracted disagreements between some drivers or members of the DPRTU at the whole main lorry terminal. In the meantime, as we work to reconnect with Faisal Abdul-Idrisu, our Volta region correspondent, we can hear from some stranded passengers.
My friends and I, we went to STC station around 7 a.m. But the place was crowded and some people too were doing protocol there. Those selling the tickets, they were doing protocol since they knew some people, and some people too were paying monies to them. So we now had to come here. We left there and came here around 8 to 9. And when we came here, the place was choked. About 3 buses have left now, and we are still here. Me, I'm going to Techiman, so I have to get to Accra early. Then I'll pick a night bus and go to Techiman. So if by 2 I've not gotten bus to go to Accra, then meaning I'll get to Accra late. Then
we're going to Accra because we're dropping off my friend at the airport, and we've been here since 9 a.m. And first we couldn't really find a bus, but then we found one. We talked to the driver, and he was just screaming at us, really unpolite. So that was really frustrating. And now we have been waiting in the line for 2 hours. Came in Hull 1 week ago. I'm doing my internship here. I'm from Denmark. Yes, so now we're just going to Accra to drop her off in the airport. She's flying out today.
She has a flight to catch up?
Yes, tonight. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's make a last attempt to reconnect with our Volta region correspondent, Faisal Abdul-Idrisu. Faisal, what can you report from the terminal this afternoon?
The various bus terminals in the regional capital are choked with passengers stranded. A number of them told me earlier that they arrived at the station as early as 8 a.m. And as of now, some of them are yet to get a bus to board to their various destinations. The transport terminal managers have been telling me that over the weekend, there were a series of events in the region, including festivals and funerals. And so a lot of people trooped in. Then, of course, schools like the University of Health and Allied Sciences are vacated. And so students are also trooping to the various bus terminals. What that means is that there is an influx at the terminals when, indeed, there are no vehicles available at the moment. So as I speak to you, when you go to the STC terminal, a lot of people are there. They are yet to catch a bus. When you get to the main bus terminal at the main lorry station, several people are still in long queues waiting for their turn to catch a bus to their various destinations.
So tell us again, what is the cause of this disagreement among the drivers?
Yes, on the issue of the disagreement, it has to do with the GPRTU Branch 2 and GPRTU Branch 8. There has been this long disagreement between members of the Branch 2 until somewhere Friday, when the national executives of the GPRTU came in to induct a new leadership. The new leadership, upon assuming office, told us that they realized that another branch emerged, which is branch 8, and they will not allow them to operate at the terminal because their existence is illegal. The branch 8, on the other hand, is telling us that they have been created legally and have been in operations since 2016 and have nothing to do with branch 2, and so their operations is legal. So on Saturday, there were a series of confrontations, including the fact that branch 8 members who were protesting the attempt from branch 2 to stop them from operating used a vehicle to block the main entrance of the bus terminal, preventing vehicles and movement in and out of the terminal. And in fact, it created inconveniences that had to bring in the police and various security agencies led by the National Security Liaison Officer of the region. On Saturday, before we left, we were informed that the national executives of the GPRTU have intervened and that today they will be at the station to resolve the issue and ensure that there are smooth operations. They didn't come today, but there was a press engagement by the branch 8 members who are telling us that indeed calm has been restored. Operations are ongoing on both sides. They are loading from Ho to Tema, Ashaman, and Medina. Then branch 2, on the other hand, they are loading from Accra to from Ho to Accra Tudu. And so, as a stand, there are no issues and there is no chaos at the moment at the station. Movement, as far as this disagreement is concerned, is smooth. And so, we expect that in the coming days, the national executives of the GPRTU will be here to resolve the issue once and for all. I spoke to the Industrial Relations Officer of the GPRTU Branch 8, one by the Mpeke, who has been telling us and giving the public assurance that the inconveniences that they encountered on Saturday are a thing of the past. Let's have a listen to what Vida told us earlier today.
We are assuring all the public should always come and board car from GPRTU, and they are safe. They will go to their various destinations peacefully. There's nothing on the ground. As you can all see, when you came, you pass through the ground before you come to the conference hall.
Faisal, that will be all for now. Thank you so much for the report. And Faisal Abdul-Idris is our Volta region correspondent.
We're taking you to the Ashanti region right now because our city authorities in Kumasi work to solve the perennial problem of flooding on major streets. Their progress is being washed away by a persistent problem: indiscriminate dumping of waste. The very drainage designed to channel water away are being clogged with plastic and refuse, turning solutions into part of the problem. The situation is particularly severe on the Asokwa interchange to Ahojo Roundabout Road, where a key drainage has been completely swallowed up by plastic waste. With national sanitation campaigns underway, is enough being done? Is a question being asked in the Ashanti region. Let's connect right now with my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar, who's on the ground, has been finding out a lot more about this. Ibrahim, talk to us about how critical this blockage is and how it's affecting persons in and around it, because we've seen pictures of it. Doesn't look pleasant.
Well, Mauna, this is one of the major drainage in the Ashanti region, I would say within Kumasi, and it links to the Subin drainage and other ones. Now, for some weeks now, residents tell me water has not been able to pass through the drainage, especially the ones coming from Asafu Market area, because the entire drainage has been silted, it has been blocked by these plastic waste, and for that matter, the drainage or the refuse keep piling there, and also water that comes from those streets also keep piling. So with the list of rains, you realize that the entire place gets flooded, and we have so many works very close. And we have mechanic shops and other shops. And they tell me that anytime it rains, they have to struggle with the flooding that comes there. And also it ends up destroying their items. Right. Additionally, another key challenge that they have been mentioning has to do with the health risk that it poses, because the water is unable to flow freely. Mosquitoes are around and also other things. So they tell me that malaria is very common among them, and also some sanitation-related disease. And they want authorities to act now, because previously they will come and desilt, they will end up leaving the sand very close. Then it will go back to the drain and choking it. So as government has intensified its sanitation campaign, they want this place to also be relooked at and keep the city clean. Let's listen to what some of the residents have been sharing with me.
This is more better than Roberts. On better any Kakana, must say the jail too, no machine. Promotion as well, Nano so and co. Let's say Termus and so to near Yafa region also and co.
Because a pollution in Tontom. And I'm saying malaria to boys in Dua. Once the boys in Bida, boy, you create a channel. I can't see. Sanka percent go betting my because maybe a Chumgana, so no betting Kaka.
They're speaking about malaria and how fast it's spreading there because the drains are choked. Have authorities stated the plan to deal with this challenge?
Well, for now, they tell me that they will have to re-strategize. Initially, the concern was that they were unaware, but now this is one of the major roads within Kumasi, so it's difficult for them to say they are unaware, but they said they will have to now re-strategize in the coming days and make sure that they deal with this menace once and for all. Because like the residents rightly mentioned, there have been times they will come and desilt, but we will still find these plastic waste littering around. So they are putting up plans to make sure that they also deal with this. Whilst others, like we said, because government has tied performance of MMDCs to sanitation-related issues.
Right.
They are also doing everything possible to make sure they address it.
Ibrahim, as always, thank you very much for those details. That's my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar with details there for us.
Now, work has started on the decade-long stalled dormitory block and dining hall at students of Our Lady of Mount Carmel Senior High School after TV3's report. The contractor reportedly started work on the project a month after our correspondent Belinda Tete filed this report on the neglect and the impact it is having on academic performance of students. Let's connect with Belinda now with the very latest on this. Belinda, I can see some work ongoing behind you, but talk to us about the progress. This is good. Congratulations on this work.
Right. So with the progress, our sporting performance tells me that the dormitory they are done with the ceiling, and some electrical works are also done. And then they have actually moved to the dining hall. This is the dining hall. They are currently doing the roofing, they are currently doing the ceiling, and then they will do the electrical work. And then right after the electrical work, they also have to do some renovation on the windows. There are some broken woods and thereabout because it has been neglected for some time. So they would have to do a renovation before they can do the louver, and then they can do the overall work. So with the dining hall, they are giving, give or take, let's say 3 weeks. They should be done with the wiring and the ceiling, and then there's also a welder who's supposed to come in by next week to also start welding work on the dormitory as well as the dining hall.
Very, very well, Belinda. We know you've been talking to the headmistress of the school. What has she been telling you?
Right, she actually expressed her gratitude, and she is really elated with the fact that right after our report, it prompted stakeholders and relevant individuals to act, to come to the site. I am being told that it was a month after the report that the contractors came on site and started work on the site. And so she's actually happy that at long last, their long-dreamed facility has now seen attention, and also will now see completion. And also the students as well, they are over the moon with the fact that finally they can get somewhere responsible and somewhere good to sleep. And also they can get a dormitory to eat their food and relax to learn, because initially when I engaged them prior to the start of work, they tell me that with the fact that the dormitory has not been completed, they had to use a classroom block which was used as a dormitory, and this was really put a lot of stress on them. So with the new project, at least they have hope that their project can be completed and then they can have a good place to sleep. Let's listen to what the students and the headmistress.
We won't be able to do that right now, but thank you so much for talking to us. Belinda Tete is our correspondent and bringing results to her community. That'll be all for Regional Hub. Or perhaps just before we do, the National District Road Improvement Program Coordinator Edwin Nilante Vanderpoy has cautioned district coordinators, especially those in areas affected by illegal mining, against misusing equipment for personal gain. He emphasizes the government's substantial investment in the equipment must be protected and warns of serious sanctions for culprits.
At a two-day orientation program for DRIP coordinators, some MMDCEs and members of parliament, the National DRIP Coordinator Edwin Nilante Vanderpoy stressed that the state's substantial investment in the equipment must be protected. While cautioning against the misuse of the equipment for personal gain, he warned that those found culpable, especially in Galamsey areas, would face severe sanctions.
Honorable MMDCs, I'm begging you in the name of God, please, these are state assets that have been put in our custody. We have already received reports of certain MMDCs conniving with people to misuse the equipment. That's why I'm cautioning you. Don't force me to do something that will embarrass you and embarrass our government. Especially you coordinators who are coming from mining areas. Please, if your mindset is that what the MPP board did, you are going to do the same, you need repentance.
And that's our bulletin for you this afternoon, which came to you from our studios here on the John Hammond Street. As always, a lot more news if you log on to 3news.com. I am Mawina Egbeta.
And I am Kemini Amano. We are back here same time tomorrow with more news. Bye-bye.